Hey guys, my name is Loken. So stoked that you're here with us for JSAW Bible Study today. We have been going through the book of Philippians recently, and today we'll be reading and discussing Philippians chapter 3, verses 15 through 4:1, which talks about following Paul's example. Following someone's example can look very different, and it all depends on who you are following. In action sports, when you learn a trick, you often look to someone else, maybe a coach or a pro, as an example to base your trick off of. That way, you can see what you need to be doing to land the trick. Some of the easiest ways I've seen people learn is by directly following someone who knows what they are doing into the trick that they are trying. Seeing them land it and having them walk you through it can make it nice and easy to land that new trick. Maybe you know someone who is a little bit overconfident and claims that you should be following them into a trick, but you know that they can't even do it themselves. You wouldn't want to follow them. You'd get hurt. I've seen this out on the boat before. Instead of listening to a coach, the rider will listen to their friends on the boat, with the result being a board to the shin and a nice big bruise. Instead of listening to those people, go and follow the coach who knows what they are doing. And that's pretty much what Paul is asking the Philippians to do in this passage. He's asking them to follow his example. Paul says to live up to what we have already attained. But what have we attained? Well, as believers, we have already attained salvation. It's already done. Whatever confidence we had in the flesh is meaningless. Our salvation is not a result of what we can do. Wearing that cross necklace or putting a verse in your Instagram bio, that doesn't bring us salvation. Salvation comes through faith in Jesus as Christ. Now we can live up to what we have already attained by leaving our confidence in the world behind and living for God. People of the world are enemies of the cross, and he warns us not to follow them. Those people are headed for destruction because they are focused on earthly things. Paul then says that we who believe are citizens of heaven and will have our bodies restored because of our Savior, Jesus Christ. And because we have that, we should stand firm in our faith. Well, some of you might be asking what it means to follow Paul's example. Well, Paul's life before he encountered Christ was a life of pursuit of earthly things, and he was headed for destruction. When he warns us of those enemies of the cross, he says he is in tears. Paul is emotional about those people because he sees his old self in those people, chasing after meaningless things of the world instead of chasing after God. But Paul came to know God and left the pursuit of the world behind to follow God fully. As believers, we can follow Paul's example by being focused on what the Lord has in store for us, rather than the past life of the world. If we think otherwise, by chasing the world, God will correct our way of thinking, steering our hearts toward Him rather than the world. We are called to stand firm in our faith and not to give in to the world. Don't follow a worldly example, yet find someone who loves the Lord and follow them. Just like Paul called others to follow his example, we too should follow someone who is not of the world but following Christ. Now, in the action sports world, it's pretty common to see really good riders who maybe don't live a very healthy lifestyle and are chasing worldly things. But there are some good examples out there too. Here's a personal example of this in my life. When I started following Jesus wholeheartedly, I had just started my freshman year of college. I had moved to another state for school, and I was on the school ski team. Until that point, I had often looked up to a bunch of pros or local legends that were nice people, but definitely not God-fearing. They were smoking and drinking and definitely problems in their life. I was living in a life of indifference to the world or God and could have easily fallen into that sort of lifestyle. When I started skiing with a ski team, I met some really incredible people, but one guy specifically was totally on fire for God. I started to look up to him, and he showed me how much about following Jesus that I didn't know before. I started following his example as he kind of mentored me, and I am incredibly thankful for his example as he showed me how to live out my faith. Now, I want to encourage you, if you don't already, find someone who is chasing after the Lord and follow their lead. Well, guys, there's some questions down below. Thanks for coming. We'll see you next week.